Welcome everyone to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the home of the Coca-Cola 600. The longest race of the Winstel Cup Series season is here. Welcome everyone to ABS coverage of the Winstel Cup Series and the Coke 600 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race 8 of 25 in the championship campaign. Clock beginning to tick, beginning to wear down a little bit here. This marks the end of the first half of the regular season before we get to the race for the Winstel Cup. Excuse me, it's been a long week. But you're glad you're with us here for an amazing Sunday evening for racing. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me behind the production booth, Anity Pulsatrix, to bring today's pictures and sound from the legendary Charlotte circuit. Longest race of the season, 120 laps on the board that these drivers will have to try to conquer and master as this race gets ready to take place. Qualifying set to take place here soon as well, within about 3 minutes time. So go or go home, a very important factor once again here for this crown jewel event. This track is historic. It's known for the double. It's known for being part of the double. It was the World 600, now the Coke 600. One of the most easily accessible racetracks for all of the drivers in the series. It doesn't matter if you started your sim racing career in street stocks or in trucks and ARCA cars. You've been here. You've been at this racetrack a million times. The racing will be furious, it'll be frantic, it'll be chaotic across these 120 laps. Largest fuel cells of the season as well, so more fuel capacity, more tire saving will be required. Jonathan Skabnicki, one of the newest drivers in the field, taking over the 91, that's Stanley Toole's Dodge Charger, has jumped in at a very critical point. The longest and most physically dominating race is where he begins his Winstel campaign. And right now he's closing in on Alex Bates, one of the veterans. Has not set any really comparative lap times, just a lot of warm-up laps there for Skabnicki. We'll see what he can do as this progresses. Top 43 in qualifying make it in. Top 35 in points already locked in. So it's imperative to get a good lap here. You only get one of them in qualifying here in about 90 seconds to try to get yourself into the show here this weekend. While we get into that, obviously a big week of racing going on here. Started last night, started yesterday with the PRR GT World Tour in Monza. Last night we were in Michigan. I was trying to think of where we were at last night. It's been a long weekend. We were in Michigan for the RX High Octane Series, the truck series last night. Doubleheader tonight. We have the RX Speedway Cup Series on YouTube right now going on in Chicagoland. We're here in Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600 for Winstel. And then our version of the double takes place on Wednesday. We have Charlotte here tonight. We have the Arrowhead 500 on Wednesday for the ABN Champ Car World Series. Several Winstel drivers will be in that race on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing some of these drivers take on the open wheel cars that Champ Car provides on Wednesday evenings. And then we have on Saturday, we have the Time Endurance Championship, 10 hours of Aragon from the Spanish Motorland Aragon circuit, before we cycle around and do it all over again next Sunday from Montreal for the Winstel Cup Series. First road course race of the season, going to Canada for the first time. New look here for the 18, save your screen for just a moment. You see two of them there. You saw the 11 of Anthony Krovak. This is the 18 of Chris Champeau. Big difference. Normally it's the 11 that runs this paint. They're both running patriotic paints. This is the Memorial Day race in real life. Champeau running the red numbers. Anthony Krovak running the white number 11 in comparison. So be able to tell those two cars apart if they end up around each other. In this race, they typically do. That concludes practice. We have warm-up coming up here in just a moment, but here comes qualifying, and it is all about getting things done right. 46 drivers trying to qualify for 43 spots, 3 drivers going home. As I mentioned before, you only get 1 lap to get things right here. These lap times about 30 seconds. So you blink and you miss it. Quite literally could be the case for some of these drivers in the field. Brandon Cruz, one of the first ones out on track here in the number 20 Home Depot Chevrolet. See what he can do. He has not been a strong qualifier, but he's been top 35 in points. He's been locked in, so he's not concerned about where he starts necessarily, about where you finish these races. So he's been really good at picking up spots and getting good results in the events themselves. These cars, very loose. Heard from a lot of the drivers going into this weekend. The car is going to lean a lot on the right rear tire. On cold tires, especially so. It takes a couple laps for these tires to really sink in. Running on board here with the 20 of Brandon Cruz. As he comes through turns 3 and 4, you see that wheel just bouncing around a little bit, sawing at it a little bit. Really smooth there through the tri-oval. We'll see what lap time he can get. Cruz not going to be fast though. 30.614 for Cruz, already out of the top 10 in the running order. There's Philip Snipes, the 97. I believe he's already set his lap time. He has. Here comes Alex Bates to finish his lap time, I do believe. See him cross the line here as Jacob Kotak, the points leader, exits pit lane. Bates goes and joins Cruz in the top 15. Here's Sean Pellick, the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet. Usually a big throwback car, not this year. The traditional Lowe's 48 in play here. So 2 cars we're looking at right now. We're looking at Sean Pellick, the 48, who has had a resurgence following a disastrous first 6 races. And on the side monitor I've got over here in the broadcast booth, I've got Jacob Kotak. See what lap time he's able to put down, because he is a favorite pole position right now. And you see actually a good layover right there from where Pellick's out on the racetrack to where Jacob Kotak is. Almost identical where they're located on the racetrack at this point in time. Fantastic work there to get those overlaid and put together here. So we're going to see them put pretty similar lap times together. They're going to be pretty well clustered. Is it going to be a good lap time though for Pellick and Kotak? Yeah, absolutely for Kotak. Top of the board, 30.301. Pellick just 300ths shy in 6th. 300 separates the top 6. Craig Lautenslager in that round at 99. He is 13th fastest. He jumps into the top 15 ahead of Matt Skipper and Larry Pace. Larry Pace having an odd qualifying session. Usually he's top 10 at these moments. Not the case. Here's Ryan Andrew in the U.S. Army 01. Very fitting for this event. He goes top 10, 7th fastest for him, just behind the 48 of Pellick. And the lap times continue to move in more and more and more. Tyler Head, the former champion of the series 2 years ago, trying to also get top 10 qualifying honors here in Charlotte. Emily Howe also on the racetrack as well, just qualifying in 12th. Home track for Emily Howe. For Tyler Head, he goes front row ahead of Brandon McKissick. Could be drama early. Kotak and then Head and McKissick and Rasmus top 4 as things sit. The Budweiser number 8 of Parker Alexander in the top 5. Here's Andrew Ferrinaires, a 14. Rolling through the corner right now, see what he can get on his qualifying lap time. The 14. He clocks the time, good enough for pole. 30.287. Can Christian Budd top it? No. 30.300. He bests Jacob Kotak's time by 1 millisecond, but not good enough for Andrew Ferrinaires, who hasn't clocked in by 13 thousandths. Corey Steinhauser, the 55, one of the Australians in the field, coming across the start finish line. He's gonna tie the wall. I don't think this lap's gonna count. And that's gonna be very unfortunate for Steinhauser, trying so hard to put this together. We'll see if he's pushing through with the lap, so we'll see if it does end up counting. But not looking good for the 55 for the year one Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Coming across our finish line here. And indeed, it does not set a lap time. So unfortunately for Steinhauser, not going to be a result under any circumstances. Thankfully for Steinhauser, he is locked in. He is top 35 in points. He is the only one, though, that has not set a lap time. So we do know those that will not be a part of the grid, unfortunately, this evening. The debutant, Jonathan Skavnicki, will miss out on his debut in the 91. Hayden Rivas will also miss out after qualifying just 44th fastest. Not going to be part of the 43 that take the field here this evening. And then the 49, Andrew Griesbaum, will also miss out. Qualified this race 43rd fastest. Obviously will move out for Corey Steinhauser, who will be a part of the event in the last starting position. So pretty easy to keep track of things there. The slowest three that did set times are out. And that allows us to make way for the race itself. So here we go for the race itself here. What a wild turn of events. Andrew Ferrinares will be on your pole position ahead of Christian Budd, Jacob Potak, Tyler Head, Brandon McKissick. That's your top five. Mike Rasmus, Parker Alexander, Nick Doucette, Sean Pelleg, and Ryan Andrew, your top 10, all basically within half a tenth of a second. Josh Chin in 11th. Welcome back, Josh Chin. After a few weeks away, he had to qualify his way in, did so with flying colors ahead of Ryan Hill, Kirk Marble, Gabriel Mauricio, the Brazilian, in the field, leading the way in 14th. Emily Howell in row 8 alongside Dylan Roberts. Those two cannot be separated for the life of them in qualifying. Once again, sharing the row. They're in row 8. Brendan McGee and Jordan Barabee in row 9. Ryan Doucette and Greg Wattenslager in row number 10 is how the top 20 rounds out. Matt Skipper and Larry Pace. Not a great qualifying effort for the 09 team from Phoenix Racing. They're in row 11 ahead of Tom Willett and Evan Locke. TJ Crampton and the Argentinian Lucas Davila in row 13 ahead of Jeremy Davis and Steve Brown. Thomas Lewandowski and Ashley Kolonix starting in the top 30. It's a very bad qualifying effort for Kolonix, their 30th place for her. Corey Cook does make it in. Was one of those that had to qualify in as well. Will sit alongside Kyle Benson in row 16. Row 17 is Christina Ryan and Christian Poe. Alex Bates, Matt Sisler in row number 18. Row 19, Brandon Cruz and Andy Trupiano. Tyler Murray and Anthony Krobach, row number 20. They round up the top 40 here. Philip Snipes, Jonathan Hernandez, they make the field and will be joined at the very tail end by Corey Steinhauser. Griesbaum, Rafus, and Skavnicki will not make the field for this Coca-Cola 600. They will have to try again in 7 days' time in Montreal. 2 formation laps here to get everything up to speed on an organized basis. We got 120 laps. Longest race of the season. Everyone's so used to races being 60, 70 laps. This is double that length. And it is critical. As I mentioned before, this is race 8 of 25 in the season. Before the chase, we've only got 16 races to figure out what the top 10 is going to look like. The top 10 of points is where you need to be to get into the chase for the Winstel Cup. Everyone else trying to stay top 35, so that way they don't have to worry about qualifying their way in, like Josh Chen, like Ashley Kolonix, or like those that failed to qualify, like Steinhauser, like Skavnicki, Rafus, Griesbaum. You don't have to worry about any of those issues, and being top 35 is a way to get clear of that right now. The Ferrinares, who looked so dominant, in North Wilkesboro, getting crashed out really late, not being able to finish that race in North Wilkesboro, trying again here in North Carolina. to try to find a race win for that 14 car. Is the big one where he gets it done. He's got a couple of former champions behind him, the defending champion alongside of him. Jacob Potak, the points leader, just behind him. Looks at his mirror, there's 41 humming stock cars looking to do damage here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 1.5 miles is a link around this racetrack. 120 laps, that is what is in store for the field. Expecting this to be a 2-stop, if not a 3-stop race. Tires are going to be a critical factor in this event. Tire fall off from start to finish of a run, about 3 seconds on average. So these cars will feel every single lap they run around here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is one of the quintessential intermediate racetracks on the calendar, one of the most historic. And we'll kick off our doubleheader of important races this week with the Arrowhead 500 on Wednesday. It's Winstel's turn first. They open up the weekend in style. It's Ferrinaires, Bud, Potak, Head, McKissick, Rasmus, Alexander, Doucette, Peleg, and Andrew, your top 10, your first 5 rows of 43 cars. The pace car pulls into pit lane, and the Coca-Cola 600 is underway. We're racing at Charlotte. As they exit turns 3 and 4, 3 wide for the top 5. Potak in the middle, and McKissick and Tyler Head. That is the last place you want to be to kick off the start of this race. He backs out of it. He'll accept 5th place and try to rebound here. They go 3 wide again through 1 and 2. Potak this time near the wall. He's going to try to get clear and get back to 3rd. Christian Bud led that lap. So Bud, the defending champion, leads lap 1. The 22 trying to get to the front. 2 Fords and a Dodge lead the field. Tyler Head, the best Chevrolet at the moment, but you see a couple more Chevrolets running right around on Nick Doucette. You've got the 01 of Ryan Andrew behind him. They are leading on each other, the 42 and the 44. Remember, no love lost between these two. This goes all the way back to Fontana earlier this season between McKissick and Tyler Head. There's Ryan Andrew, that U.S. Army 01, just to the right side. Everyone trying to set sail here as you ride on board with the DuPont Chevrolet of Doucette. They are 2 by 3, 2 wide, 3 rows deep, chasing down the championship defending Christian Bud. Look at the 01, Ryan Andrew. If we were dirt track racing, he would be riding the cushion. He is rip riding around the wall there through 1 and 2, and he will do the same in 3 and 4. 3 wide still. Going to try to move forward. He is sawing at that wheel. Look at that great camera angle there from the 01 of Ryan Andrew. From 0 to hero, up into the podium places, side by side with the Pulsatrix of Ferrinaires, trying to get to the race lead here in Charlotte. This race, big fight feel in terms of sporting terms. From the offset here, Ryan Andrew from 10th on the grid gets to the race lead. He takes over from Christian Bud to lead the Coke 600. And there's trouble. McKissick backwards. McKissick in trouble, and they're still in trouble. Luckily, the field able to check up. That was almost an absolute disaster. And it's McKissick and Tyler Head that got involved. So near disaster on lap number 5, coming to start lap 6. Ryan Andrew from 10th to 1st, and then it all happens behind him between McKissick and Tyler Head. And we'll see if we can grab a replay here momentarily of what happened with McKissick and Tyler Head here. As they get ready to come down pit lane, they're going to come down, take one of those sets of tires early. Ryan Andrew, he was using those tires up like he would not believe, trying to get to the race lead. If he can hold on to the race lead, it'll be pretty easy. So here we go, a replay of the incident between McKissick and Tyler Head, the 42 and the 44, center of your screen. Ooh. We'll need an onboard, I think, for the 44 here to see what happens there. It looks like he tries to shoot a gap that just isn't there. And both of them pay the price for it. But I believe that's the 44 trying to shoot the gap. In real time, a couple cars going, 2 tires are fuel only on this stop. But we'll take another look here from the 44's perspective of Tyler Head. There's Farinair's the 14 just ahead. The 44 of Tyler Head, the 44, there he is, riding on board. This is the in-car camera. He's got some work to do. I think he just tries to shoot the gap. And it's a hole that's always really closing. And remember, these two, no love lost between these two. And obviously, they're not going to help each other out after that starts. So they're not going to give each other any extra space at all. It doesn't matter if it's lap 5 or lap 115. There's just not going to be a lot of real estate there. McKissick's coming down. Head's trying to force the issue. And neither of them going to give space, unfortunately, there. The stewards will have to look at that after the race. Almost disastrous with how that could have turned out. That could have been a race ender for both of them. It's still not a great situation for either of them, with the damage that they received on those cars. You're going to see here just how close Tyler Head gets. Really good camera here, looking at that left front. And yeah, camera would be gone. But luckily, I mean, you see it there. There's enough of a space the left front was able to get through without being turned inside out. And having the worst of your issues being stuck now in 37 to 38. But in this race with minimal damage, a lot better way of doing that there. Obviously, neither of them claim responsibility for that incident, so it'll have to be reviewed post-race, and that's what they will do. If the stewards, if the race officials discover that one of them is at fault more than the other, they will have a 1-lap penalty to start next week's race in Montreal. So, it is Larry Pace who did not come down pit lane, Jeremy Davis, and then Christian Budd, who took 2 tires. To get us restarted here, single file, all 43 cars on the lead lap, all the way from Larry Pace down to Tyler Murray in 43rd. Sean Peleg, Ryan Andrew, Andrew Farinair's, they all came down. Peleg took 2 tires, Ryan Andrew took 2 tires, Ryan Andrew took 4, Farinair's also took 4. And everyone behind took a mixture of 2 and 4 tires to try to get some track position here. Riding aboard with the Pulsatrix, behind one of the quick movers in the opening stanza of this race, Ryan Andrew just up the road. The green flag flies once again. It's time to get back to racing here in the Coke 600. A little bit of bumping early on. Sean Peleg, I think, a little bit of wheel spin, and Farinair's will take advantage of it. Gets around the 01 early on. And back at it we go, roaring through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide, further back. That's Emily Howe trying to get around both the 16 of Kirk Marble and the 9 of Brennan McGee and the 13 of Ryan Doucette. There's 2 Doucettes in the field. There's Nicholas in the 24, Ryan in the 13. Ryan's further back of the 2. Everyone trying to get to the top 10 now. There's the 41. Trying to move forward. That's Jordan Barabee. At the front, though, Larry Pace had to use strategy to get himself to the front of the field. That's what he's done from 22nd to 1st. We know he's got race pace. No pun intended there for Larry. But we know he's got race pace there. We know what he can do at tracks like this. He won last year at Atlanta. A track even bumpier, even more tire aggressive than here in Charlotte. This is going to be right in his wheelhouse. It's all about the endurance. It's all about the physical stamina to also be able to hold on to these race cars. 720 horsepower each for 120 laps. Right now he's pulling away, riding on board here with the 4 of Jeremy Davis. from the nose cam there of that number 4 machine. Top 3 spaced out pretty evenly. It's once you get to Ferrinaires and Ryan Andrew where it spreads out a little bit here, where it starts to condense just a smidge. Davis looks to the top lane, trying to find a lane that Larry Pace is not running to try to close that gap in a little bit. Now that we've gotten everyone on our single file restart, the move's a little bit more methodical. Jacob Potak, the points leader, trying to make headway to get around the 0-1 of Ryan Andrew, and he does. Potak started this race in 3rd, dropped a few spots on that pit stop cycle. He took 4 tires, some took 2. But now that those tires are underneath him, he is on a charge here, trying to do an outstanding job. Hold on to that points lead here in this biggest race of the season. Camera in camera here, we got this battle. There we go, the battle I was actually about to look at here. Tom Willett, center of it, centerpiece of the attention alongside Dylan Roberts. There's the 37 Matt Skipper, the 34 Lucas Davila, the Argentinian in this battle as well. And the 43 is Steve Brown in this group. I believe Christina Ryan, the 88, is also not far away from this group at all either. This is 23rd for Dylan Roberts. There's Craig Lautenslager, the 99. Now roundup for Taurus. And right now they are sort of bottlenecked behind McGee, and I think that's Tyler Murray, the 33. It is. No, that's not Tyler Murray. Tyler Murray's in the 07. The 33 belongs to that. Let me get everything pulled up here momentarily. That's TJ Crampton in the 33. I apologize for that. And you got Thomas Lewandowski, not far away either. Ashley Kolnick's also in this group. Evan Locke in this group as well. Brandon McKissick, Tyler Head trying to make their way forward. Everyone just trying to make some inroads here. At the front of the field, this is a little bit further forward. This is for the 2nd spot. Sorry, this is the 3rd, excuse me. Brian Andrew and Christian Budd. Watching Andrew Ferrinaires take the lead away from Larry Pace. He has chased him down and gotten ahead. There you go. That's Jeremy Davis, excuse me. I'm all over the place. I got Chrome and Silver cars confused. Davis in the white and red machine getting to the front of the field. Larry Pace on older tires. Now just trying to hold on as Jeremy Davis leads here at Charlotte. On board with Larry Pace, the one-time Winstel Cup Series race winner. Getting that first race win last season at Atlanta. Looking back, there is Ryan Andrew, U.S. Army 01 machine for Ginn Racing in 3rd. Still rolling through turns 3 and 4 right now. Jacob Potak is stalled out right now in the 4th spot. Ferrinaires in 6th. He's behind Christian Budd. It'll be longer till we get to the first actual green flag pit stop window, because we do have the larger fuel cells in these cars for today's race, with it being such a longer race, basically double length of what our normal race distances are here in Winstel. So these cars can go a little bit longer on the fuel mileage. It's about how much longer you want to go and look at the tire wear. What is the opportunity cost there? It's about 3 seconds from fresh to worn tires. You can easily make up that time. The strategy is all the way through. It's trouble a little bit further back. And I want to say that that was one of the Petty Enterprise cars that was having some serious issues. Just trying to locate where that was. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 37 Matt Skipper that was having issues. He got loose out of turn 4 and almost spun it, went through the grass, went through the AstroTurf and front straightaway. It saved it. I don't think we need a replay of it because there's Matt Skipper, the 37, beginning to make his way forward in that underdog machine, that Dodge Charger. But keep an eye on that because Matt Skipper, we didn't get a replay of the first one. Keep an eye on more issues like that as we go through the field, though, because it is going to become more of a factor. These right rear tires are going to blister and grain and fall apart at a rapid rate. They will fall off a cliff as this run goes along. It is going to be very difficult to hold on to these cars as they begin to wear because the weight of the back of the car is going to lift as they run more fuel. The less fuel they run, the more the back of the car lifts up off the ground. Right now, they're kind of squatted a little bit. They have that extra weight, about 150, 200 pounds of extra weight at the back of the car. And you lose that as the run goes along, just naturally as this race progresses. So it'll be more and more difficult as this race progresses. And drivers have to really consider whether or not they want to go with a 3-stop strategy or if they want to try to stick it out for that 2-stop strategy. If they can get to that point, they've got to get to about lap 40 to really get to that 2-stop strategy. Expect those, if they're on 3-stop, to try there. Lautenschläger in the wall, but stays pointing in the right direction, so we stay green. Lautenschläger having issues, but he will stay out. I think there's a lot of damage on the 99 car. I think he pancaked it pretty hard. He's currently 36th after qualifying 20th. And yeah, that right front is pancaked. Gonna get passed here by the 19. Matt Sisler. There's Philip Snipes trying to avoid him as we cut forward to the front of the field. That was Jacob Potak that took over the race lead. Sorry, took over second place. Ryan Andrews already gotten through, but it's calamity for the back. They can throw all of the strategy everyone's working on in question. So we're kind of like a chameleon here. We got eyes in two separate directions of the field, both the front and the back. Andrew leads, Potak up to second. Everyone trying to get forward here. TJ Crampton, the 33, just went a lap down because he's also had issues in this race. He's just been on his own the entire race so far. Everyone trying to work their way around the 33. Ryan Andrew to the front of the field. Now it's Potak, the points leader, trying to close in to grab his chance at the race lead at the moment. Ferrinair's up to third, Potak up to fourth. Sorry, not Potak, Sean Pelleg up to fourth. Christian Budd top 5 still. And then you have the Brazilian Gabriel Mauricio in 6th. And the pace, you can tell at the back of the field already slowing down. There's Larry Pace, the 09, just losing. He has older tires, the oldest tires in the field, so he will feel it first. But everyone's feeling it to a degree. Everyone's struggling at this point to have everything put together. He's fallen behind Ryan Doucette, under attack from Jordan Barabee and Josh Chen. And he has fallen pretty well out of the top 10 here. Larry Pace right now in the 13th position. Henley Howell, who was trying to get around for a little bit, is now in the top 10. Pulling up a little bit of race control information here. Tyler Head, obviously involved in that lap 5 caution with Brandon McKissick, did put himself up. He did claim responsibility for that caution. They gave him an EOL very late into the restart process there on that restart. So that has been handled by race officials in the race. No further action for that lap 5 caution between Head and McKissick. Ryan Andrew riding on board with the 01, the U.S. Army Chevrolet, looking at the points leader in a distant second place at the moment, trying to hope it stays that way as we start lap number 30 of 120. This is the 25% mark in the race to complete this lap. For everyone watching around the world, this is the Coke 600, part 1 of our doubleheader this week of Crown Jewel events. here on ABN, the Arrowhead 500 on Wednesday, the second part of that doubleheader. Everyone trying to claim this crown jewel for themselves, though, in the Winstel Cup Series campaign. Race 8 of 25. Center of your screen, side by side, it is Jeremy Davis and Nick Doucette. This is in the top 10 in this battle as well. Emily Howe in this conversation, and Mike Rasmus. Davis on older tires as well. He took fuel only on that lap 5 caution. Larry Pace stayed out altogether. So Pace and Davis both struggling more than the rest of the field. And you see the sawing at the wheel. You see some smoke. No caution though. We stay green, but there's a little bit of tire smoke out of turn 4. A struggling area that will get worse as this race progresses. But you see just how much Jeremy Davis is sawing at the wheel here, just turning it right, trying to get it to stay left. All the counter steer, trying to keep this car going in the right direction, and he is fighting that car, and it's going to get worse and worse as this run goes along. Everyone trying to shave this down to a 2-stop race, trying to get to lap 40. That is the benchmark everyone is trying to hit at this point in time. There's Sean Peleg in the 48. The Hendrick Motorsports trio. 3 of them under a blanket. Mauricio, Peleg, and Doucette. Only car that is missing right now is the 25. The 25 further down the order, Jonathan Hernandez down in 34th. There is 33 of TJ Crampton. You see the damage from the contact he had with the wall on his own earlier in the race. He is just going further and further backwards here, just trying to ride around, hoping that more calamities come around, and he gets involved here. Coming down pit lane right now is Larry Pace, who did not stop under that caution on lap 5. He could not go to 40. He fits on 34. The first one to stop for tires and fuel. Front of the field. Jacob Potak making moves with Ryan Andrew and Andrew Ferrinares. 3 cars in a bundle here. They're going to go a little bit longer. They did come down with the tires and fuel together. They can go beyond lap 40. That's the forecast. They can get to that point. Larry Pace could not. First retirement is going to be that of Andy Trupiano, the 08, who qualified this race not in the top 20. He will park his car after 33 laps. Side by side, Ferrinares and Andrew. Ryan Andrew there, the 01. Everyone looking for some laps led here. Not only is it nice to just have the front of the field, it's 5 bonus points for leading a lap and another 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Those points, they add up. Side by side, down the back straightaway still. That looks like a little bit of netcode contact between Andrew and Ferrinares. Ryan Andrew trying to hold on to it here. Ferrinares trying to take that position away. They're allowing Potak, the points leader, to walk away with the race lead. That Bill Davis Racing Dodge leading the way ahead of a Chevrolet and a Ford. And then keep an eye on the Hendrick Motorsports trio. They're getting around Christian Budd. Mauricio up to 4th. Battle for 5th. There you go. Nick Doucette and Christian Budd. They're sitting right now in the top 5. Christian Budd in 6th. Doucette top 5. There's Nick Doucette as well, the 13. Both Doucettes working together right now. And we've got cars in the fence all over the place. That is Chris Champeau in the wall. Christina Ryan a lap earlier, also tagged in the fence. Cars beginning to really lose control of these cars at speed. You see the damage there on the 18 in the pit lane. Tom Willett. Christina Ryan coming down pit lane as well. A lap after tagging the wall. She'll come down pit lane this time too. So will Chris Champeau. Cars moving down pit lane with urgency. Champeau in pit lane. Ryan in pit lane. Several others coming down pit lane. Anthony Krolak down pit lane. It is a busy time in the pit lane. There is the other FedEx car, the 11 of Krobach. Jeremy Davis in pit lane as well. Remember, he came down for fuel only, could not get the 40 on tires with how things are sitting. A lot of these cars that are staying out right now, able to do so. Car in pit lane, one of the leaders, Ryan Andrew, in pit lane now. So he peels off right at start lap 40. He's looking to try to get himself the race lead and walk away with it a little bit because traffic is all over the place right now in this pit cycle. A caution now would really throw things upside down for the entire field. Fresh tires, old tires, scrambling for real estate and track position to try to get themselves aligned. See who can go where. And no one from this group comes out pit lane this time, so they're going for the two stop straight away, trying to cut out an entire pit stop and eliminate the risk of going a lap down and being stuck that way. See Larry Pace, how quick he has been. He was the first one to come in on lap 34. He should re-inherit the race lead here. He has been so much faster here, and he's going to just slice and dice through the field. This is the leaders that he's getting through. He is unlapping himself right now. He is unlapping himself at this moment. This is Ferrier's second place. Jacob Potak's just up the road. Jordan Barabee down pit lane now, 41. And Larry Pace sets sail, leaves the leaders behind. Corey Cook coming down pit lane. Corey Cook right now in 23rd position, so again, not one of the leaders. But I'm expecting the leaders will come down pit lane pretty urgently. Jordan Barabee in pit lane, speeding on pit lane. Not a great time for the 41 team, speeding on the entry. Posak continues to lead here. Objective, get as far past lap 40 as possible. Makes that final stint after lap 80 a pretty easy breeze. And look at, speaking of breeze, Larry Pace has the pace to just send Jacob Potak to Applebee's. And that's what fresh tires does for you. That's the 3-second difference per lap. He's already put a second on him. And a huge gaggle of cars down pit lane. Emily Howe, Mike Rasmus, Josh Chen, Corey Cook leaving pit lane. There is Steve Brown. Sean Pellick also in pit lane, as is Dylan Roberts. So huge chunk of the top 10 just came down pit lane this time. Now the leaders have to respond. Jacob Potak feeling really good though. Fresh air, clean real estate. He's trying to hold out as long as he can here, and he's going to hold out another lap. He's got that cleanest real estate. Everyone else going to have to deal with traffic to a degree. It'll come from him. It will come for him soon. But he's making the most while the sun is shining here in Charlotte. Trouble in the pit lane. Lucas Davila spins, and trouble on the exit too. Trouble on the exit. There was a car that was spun, and that was Ferrier's. I believe that was the 14 of Ferrier's that spun on the exit as Lucas Davila, the Argentinian, spun on the entry. So trouble at both ends of pit lane. And I think this is Ferrier's having to serve an unsafe pit release, or unsafe pit exit, and that's the case. And there goes another spin. That is McKissick. McKissick spins around and tags the wall on the inside lane. He's got to be careful getting it spun back around. He's going to lose so much time. His day goes from bad to worse. The former points leader will do everything but lead the points tonight. 38 after starting this race in the top 5. A bad to worse day. And that car looks skewed to me. It does not look healthy. There has to have been some damage done to the suspension of the 42 car. We're going to try to figure it out. Brandon Cruz, by process of just staying up the longest right now, is your race leader. Starting this race near the back of the field in the back 9 to the front of the field, grabbing those 5 points for leading a lap in that Home Depot, number 20. Larry Pace, less than 5 seconds behind your race leader at the moment. He will take this race lead pretty easily. I think Cruz is coming in this time. Everything about the body language is indicating that Cruz might be coming down pit lane very soon, and there he goes. Below the white and blue line, he will make his entrance into pit lane. Gets a load up. Good pit entry there for Cruz. He'll have one of the early pit stops too. Larry Pace inherits the race lead once again, his second time at the front of the field here in the Coke 600. And you see McKissick 2 laps down. Not very often we say that about Brandon McKissick. He has been such a fast driver in this series. But that is where he's at right now. A mistake really costing him. He's going to have fresher tires. Larry Pace is not going to fight him too awful hard here, because McKissick's still going to be an extra lap down. McKissick in 41st position. Only person further behind him is TJ Crampton, who has damage. Tagged the wall early, lost 3 laps in the opening stanza of this race. McKissick now 1 lap down. He's the last car 1 lap down. 1 lap down cars include Evan Locke, Tyler Head, Matt Sisler, Corey Steinhauser, and Philip Snipes and Craig Lautensley. So very rare company, all a lap down at the moment as Larry Pace leads here in Charlotte. See Evan Locke also getting around and getting his lap back here. This puts Evan Locke back on the lead lap at 34th place. Tyler Head trying to do the exact same thing just behind. Larry Pace is going to have a deficit on pace here. Remember, he came down on lap 34. He did not come down pit lane on that lap 5 caution, so he didn't get that extension that a lot of the drivers that are now dealing with him right now, they did get that extension. So it plays a lot different. Now that you know that Larry Pace is on a different strategy, he's on what is effectively a 3-stop plan right now. He cannot go to lap 80 with how things are looking right now. He can only go 34 laps. That's a huge detriment. That means he's got to pit about lap number 60, lap number 60-ish if you want to keep it even, and then about lap 90. He's got to try to make those fresher tires, those Goodyear Eagles, last. He's got to make up that deficit. Here's Jordan Barabee, who's done a fantastic job so far. One of them that kind of slid under the radar on that pit cycle. Came in near the beginning of that cycle in the top 10 now, dealing with Gabriel Mauricio, a former Daytona 500 winner. Mauricio in the top 5, that's where he was prior to the cycle beginning. So Mauricio not out of place either. But there's lap traffic in between everybody as well. This is the 19 they're coming up on. And the 19 is going to be off the lead lap here. This is Matt Sisler that's coming up on right now. Philip Snipes also a lap down to the 97. Also a lap down. So there's another bubble of cars that are a lap down but racing with each other, and that makes the life of those on the lead lap harder because everyone's fighting for something. Corey Steinhauser also, sorry, not Corey Steinhauser, that's Craig Lautenslager, I do believe. No, it is Steinhauser, it's 55. Lautenslager's in the 99. They both have the double numbers. It just that was Steinhauser 55 going a lap down there. Both Lautenslager and Steinhauser a lap down each. Steinhauser ahead of Lautenslager here, the 55 ahead of the 99. And dealing now with a battle for position here. This is a battle with Matt Sisler, 437. Everyone's still fighting, even for the lower positions in the order. Everyone's still battling here. These are precious points to try to get into the top 35 or stay top 35 in points if you are Steinhauser's case, because he is 35th in points right now. He cannot afford to lose too many more points here to fall out of the top 35. He needs to go to get some of those points back. Running on board with Matt Skipper. Started this race 21st, has only lost positions in this race so far. 31st position for him, but on the lead lap, critically. That's where you want to be. If the caution comes out, puts everyone right back on the same page once again. We've only had one of those in this race so far on lap 5. We've had a 50-lap green flag run in the Coke 600. And it is right now Ryan Andrew leading the way over Larry Pace. Not a hard battle there for the race lead for Ryan Andrew. Gets ahead of Larry Pace here. It's now in the hands of Jacob Kotek, 4 seconds adrift of the race lead to try to crawl that gap back in. There's your race leader right now, the U.S. Army 01, looking for his first win in Winstel competition. He's already changed teams once this season. Went from the 33 to the 01. Went from Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, actually went from Richard Childress Racing, excuse me, to Ginn Racing. Now here he runs once again, doing an outstanding job. There's the 05, there's 15 in the 24. That is Emily Howe and Nick Doucette, Sean Peleg in the 48. There is the 13 of Ryan Doucette as well, also in this mix as well. But everyone now pretty well locked into battles individually here. It's not just a scramble for position. Everyone knows now there's an order, there's a process, there's some procedures you can now go through to getting these positions and trying to make passes happen. Here's Jordan Barabee, the target 41, just up the road, battling with the defending champion. Brandon Cruz just stayed out longer to lead laps, a lap down here. But as the second pit stop cycle begins here in about 20 laps for most of the field, Cruz will cycle back out to the front of the field for a couple laps. Barabee dealing with the defending champion, Bud. But to the inside of Barabee, there's Ryan Doucette as well. There's Jeremy Davis, that 4 car as well. All of this for position right now in your screen, behind the lap car of Brandon Cruz, who has pressure tires, so he will be a frustration. 3 wide for the top 5. Jeremy Davis had to back out of that one in a hurry, because it was not going to be comfortable into turn 1, 3 wide like that. There's a huge bump in the middle of the racetrack that if you hit it, you will almost guarantee a spin. Davis knew that, forecasted it, moved out of the way of it. Here comes Ryan Doucette, though, to put him 3 wide into 3. No such concerns on this side of the racetrack. And Jordan Barabee can't hold on with the grip there. It's going to be 2 wide out of turn 4. Ryan Doucette, one of the pro-rated drivers, one of those with a pro eNASCAR license. Right now, side by side with the defending champion, on his way forward. 7th place, battling for 6th. Trying to get to the top 5, which is currently gate kept by Josh Chen. Ryan Andrew, Jacob Kotek, Larry Pace, Gabriel Mauricio, Josh Chen, your top 5. There's your comparison. Last lap speed for him, he is faster than the race leader Ryan Andrew. That is important. That is an accordion that is slowly closing. And it is not harmonious as it closes. It will be very rough as this race progresses. We have passed the halfway point here in Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Coke 600, race 8 of the Winstel Cup Series season. For those watching around the world here on ABN, we appreciate you tuning in and joining us for an amazing race so far. It has been absolutely outstanding. There were a lot of concerns going into this event that there would be troubles with the tires in this field, that it just wouldn't be held together. Car in pit lane, not one of the leaders, I do not believe. So we're good to go there. But pit stop's going to be beginning here soon for Larry Pace, who fell lap 34. This is the furthest he can go is lap 68. So he cannot go far enough to get to lap 80, which is where he needs to be. How soon do you come down pit lane? That is the question you ask as he gets passed by the 19 of Matt Sisler, who's a lap down. Falling further and further adrift here. Outstanding stuff so far in this race, though. It's very entertaining from bell to bell. A little bit of drama. The continuation of the Brandon McKessick and Tyler Head saga kicked off the race early. Both of them struggling in this race in pretty full force here. Tyler Head down in the 32nd position. Brandon McKessick spun on pit lane, is a lap down in 39th. So both of the drivers that we expected to be heavy contenders in this race, both of them qualified top 6. They are nowhere close to the top 20 at this point in time. Both of them out of the top 30. A bad day for both of them involved. It's been a great day for Jacob Potak. Car in pit lane. I'll see who that is that just came down pit lane from the broadcast booth here. Going to be difficult to see that. I do not believe it is Larry Pace, though. It is the 99, Greg Lottenslinger down pit lane, the roundup 99. It's hard to see. You can tell by the pictures on your screen the shadows that have been cast across the racetrack from behind us here in the broadcast booth. There's obviously the grandstands all the way up here cast a shadow all the way across the front straightaway. So it's hard to see some of the numbers and everything right here. You see right here just how difficult it is to see Chris Champeau's number on that pace game, that 18. Not an easy car to keep a spotlight on, especially so with the Roundup car when it's mostly white car with white numbers in the case of Lawnslayer. Again, expecting Larry Pace to be the first leader to come down pit lane. He is off sequence in about 2 laps time, if not sooner. On your screen right now, Jordan Barabee, Nick Doucette, Emily Howe, all in this fight. Larry Pace, you see him right there, the 09. He's also still in this group as well, as is the 00 of Mike Rasmus. All of these cars making it to about lap 80, so they've got a little bit more time to go. Another car in pit lane pretty early, not one of the leaders. That is the 07 to Tyler Murray. Even he's got a different car than normal. He's got a black car with red numbers. Same with Josh Chen. Still a lot of light on the back straightaway though, which is great. And I think the driver's gonna be grateful that the sun begins to be shadowed out as you get into the front straightaway here. Sending it in, this is Mauricio. We are riding on board with the yellow and blue gloves, that Kellogg fire suit. He tries to have a little bit of a battle with Josh Chen. Just magic seeing some of these drivers at the wheel. The way they saw at the wheel back and forth, trying to keep the car under control. It is not easy keeping these cars really reined in together. There's a lot of comparisons you can make here. Christina Ryan comes down pit lane. She will also be on that 3-stop strategy here. We compare the doubleheaders in the 2 main series we have here on AVN, the Winstel Cup Series and the AVN Champ Car World Series. Both those cars produce off the same level of horsepower. 725 horsepower here in the Winstel Cup Series, 750 for Champ Car machines on Wednesday nights. The big difference is that these cars are double the weight, 3,400 pounds, and they produce about 1/6 of the downforce. This is the limit of what tires can produce grip for around these racetracks at all. So these cars dance a lot around the racetrack. I mean, you see the Champ cars dance on Wednesday nights. They dance because of the downforce, the aerodynamics, the playing of the air that takes place all around the race car. It is a dance of mechanical grip. It is a fine line that is being tap danced on and tight-roped across every lap for 120 laps. It is very difficult. We've had a lot of drivers throughout the years try to cross over and do one or the other, whether it's, open wheel drivers coming over to do stock car drivers coming over to do open wheel, and they never have a lot of veritable success because it is so different, because the way everything handles is so different. The way you have to manipulate the mechanical grip in these cars is so unique that it is very difficult to make all of that come true and take place in mass. These drivers are also creating a mass of absolute carnage, potentially. Remember, some cars have come down pit lane. They've come down pit lane on that 3-stop strategy, so now we've seen a true separation of game plan here. Trying to make magic happen. Larry Pace, one of those that came down pit lane. He should, once again, as he did on that first cycle, re-inherit the race lead after lap 80. But he is on a 3-stop strategy. He needs a caution to come out after lap 80. It puts him back on everyone's game plan here. He missed out on lap 5, and I think it's going to cost him here if we stay green the rest of the way. You see the 01 Ryan Andrew. He also came down pit lane. He's on that 3-stop strategy as well. There's beginning to also be a firm belief that that 3-stop strategy may provide enough pace, 3 seconds a lap, remind you, at its biggest, the deficit between fresh and old tires, 3 seconds deficit. That could be a huge swing and shift. Again, lap times at their fastest, 30.4. Lap times at their slowest, almost 34 seconds. Gaining 3 seconds a lap at peak can sway some minds here, especially those that maybe want those fresher tires. Could be an easy argument to make. Some of those drivers made that argument. Ryan Andrew, who was safe on that 2-stop strategy, came down and switched to the 3-stop. Keep an eye on the 01 and the 09 as this race continues on into the dust conditions here at Charlotte. And caution's out. Oh no, caution has come out. Caution has come out. I am not sure what this is for. I don't see any immediate damage on any of the cars coming around the front straightaway. It might have something to do around the Lucas Davila camp, the 34. He is a little bit slower than everyone else on the front straightaway, but I don't know if that's him just letting cars go by or not. There's Ryan Hale center of your screen. There's always just some smoke, so this is in 3 and 4 where this happened. Davila in 28, started 26. I don't know, again, I don't know if Davila's in the center focus of it. I didn't see this in my frame of mind. This was all up in turn 3, and that's wrong. Oh, that is the 33 and TJ Crampton. That might be where it's from. I'm trying to see here. Might be Kyle Benson. Kyle Benson is on the radio relaying some information. I can't quite make out what's on that radio conversation at the moment, but it might be the 38 of Benson. We'll double check here momentarily. Everyone trying to get sorted through here. It is pandemonium. Everyone trying to figure this out because everyone had spaced out pretty dramatically, and we had pit stops coming up. Now this gets interesting because this gets a lot more difficult to do. Pitting with 44 laps to go in this race. I know we're working behind the scenes trying to find a replay of what could have happened here. Maybe with TJ Crampton, he was the one that was parked on the back straightaway. But again, I'm not entirely sure if that is the case. Crampton has been struggling most of this race. He has been struggling a lot. So whether or not that might have been the 33 or it might have been the 34, you will find out here. Pit stops underway in a big way. So everyone trying to figure out what is going on here and what has drawn the second caution, only the second caution of the race. Will re-rack everything in a pretty big way. Unfortunately, it does do a lot of damage to the likes of Larry Pace, who will have to take a wave around here to make things happen. We also know the saying that cautions breed cautions. If there's a second, there very well could be a third, could be a fourth. Knowing that we're in the closing sections of this race. Again, looking for a replay here of what could have happened here, either between the 34 and the 33. Between Davila and TJ Crampton. I don't know if we're going to have a replay of it in hand. We had the cars kind of spread out throughout the entire field. Shout out to everyone tuning in here for the Coke 600, race 8 of 25 in the season, the longest race of the season, part of our biggest weekend of racing. See, there's an issue, technically speaking, with the equipment here. We've kind of just been locked on the 34 of Davila. We have a restart coming up here just momentarily. Now we're going to want to keep an eye on here. I don't know if we have an issue with our systems locking up or what's going on here. Davila in 29th. Uh-oh. Jacob Potak will lead us. Ryan Doucette, Josh Chen, your top three. Green flag flies, and away we go once again. I'll try to put you in through the radio as we deal with systems issues here in the broadcast tower. Trouble, everyone's stacking up. They're big time stack up. It is Jacob Potak, though, that leads the way. Four wide further back, everyone's scrambling to try to gain some extra positions here. Further on down the order, it is Potak, it is Ryan Doucette, Josh Chen, Christian Budd, and Gabriel Mauricio, top five. With 36 cars on the lead lap. .42 cars still running. Only retirement is that of Andy Trupiano. Dealing with a technical issue with our system here. Right now we're kind of just locked to the viewpoint here of Lucas Davila. So it'll be a little bit more of a radio call, filling you in on what's going on up front. Ryan Doucette battling with Jacob Potak to grab that race lead. Josh Chen shadowing in third, and here we go. Big time fight at the front of the field. Ryan Doucette gets us clear. The cause of the caution, we did get a report on that. That was that of TJ Crampton, who had come to a stop on the back straightaway. So it was not Lucas Davila, it was that of TJ Crampton, who we saw momentarily perpendicular to the racetrack. Ryan Doucette leads the way and is trying to pull away here from Potak. Chen in third, Budd in fourth, Mauricio fifth, Marble in sixth. Then it's Ryan Hill and Emily Howe, seventh and eighth. Mike Rasmus, Dylan Roberts, top 10. Here with Kirk Marble. Really good run for him so far from 13th to 6th. He has been pretty good all race long. Just been under the radar, been quiet in this race. Not been very brash. One of those races that he's really needing in that 16, that National Guard Ford Taurus. Now he's battling with Ryan Hill for that 6th spot. Ryan Hill in 7th. I think Ryan Hill's going to make some pretty good headway here on this battle, as they also battle up ahead for the 2nd spot, Potak and Christian Budd. Battling tooth and nail here. Coming to 33 laps to go here in the Coke 600. We've been non-stop here, minus the 2 cautions in today's race. Glad you're with us. We're with you all the way through the finish here in Charlotte. 32 laps to go. Apologies, anyone can hear me refreshing my glass here in the booth. I've been talking nonstop here for about 90 laps for about an hour and a half. So if anyone can hear the pouring of water in the background, apologies, but let me take a second to recharge here for the last 30 laps of this race. Everyone battling around Philip Snipes here. Philip Snipes going a second lap down. Fortunate for Philip Snipes, his race just not quite panning out the way he thought it was going to today. It is still a very tight fight here for this race lead. Ryan Doucette's leading, but it's not by much. As they all get around another lap car here, this is of Brandon Cruz, also going 2 laps down. Philip Snipes trying to race his way back and get one of those laps back here, fighting the hard way. On board with 40 to 97 of Philip Snipes. Look at him splitting the middle of the racetrack there. He's got some really fresh tires on that 97 car. He is flying right now. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get 2 laps back, but he's going to look pretty good trying. Kotak gets to the lead of the race. Ryan Doucette really interfered with there by Philip Snipes. So that's going to be a huge change in pace here. Philip Snipes is going to finally make his way around the race leader to get one of those laps back. Sitting right now in that 39th position. Only one retirement, that of Trupiano. Other 42 still running. And we have 34 on the lead lap. Car down pit lane is Ryan Andrew. So he will go a lap down here. But this is his final pit stop of the race, so he knows he could not make it 44 laps. That's what the drivers had to deal with here. That's what they had to come to terms with, is that they had to try to go 44 laps. The furthest we've seen anyone run is 42. So, and that was Brandon Cruz, who was not on the lead lap by any sense of the imagination. He's already 2 laps down. So he tried to save a whole bunch of fuel, and he paid for it. So, and if he's the only one that could do 42, no one else can make it to the finish here without another stop. Ryan Andrew making his stop earlier, trying to make hay while the sun shines, knowing that there is more clean air around the racetrack right now. Champo, I believe, coming down pit lane. I'm wondering why come down right now when you can wait a few laps to make that happen. Oh, trouble. Trouble on the pit entry. Oh my goodness, that was a hard hit. And that's Larry Pace. That was Ryan Andrews, who Ryan Andrews had just gotten some fresh tires. Larry Pace trying to come down pit lane. Really late on that decision though too. And I think that's a speeding penalty. I would have to hazard a guess that is going to be a speeding penalty, if not some repairs. Not a great time if you are the 09 Larry Pace trying to battle forward. His race had been thrown upside down pretty badly, all things considered. He did not have a speeding penalty, so it is all damage on that 09. There is no speeding penalty for Larry Pace, but unfortunately damage on the 09 will throw his race completely down the tubes as more cars begin to cycle down pit lane here for those final stops. Seems like a fair amount of the field accepting they are not going to be able to make it to the end of the race. So when do you make that last pit stop? Do you go about lap 105? Do you go about 100? Do you go in a few laps? What does it look like? Are you going to try to make it and try to save those 4 to 5 laps of fuel to make it to the end of the race? That is the huge question on these drivers' minds at the moment. Ryan Doucette, Jacob Potak. I think the front runners are sprinting until they have to come down pit lane. When do you experience that cliff? When do you come down pit lane? That's a huge question. I think they're coming in within the next 7 laps. Just based off the body language, looking how these cars are handling right now, they are not racing to last on these tires. They're going to come down pit lane pretty quickly. There's a couple I would not be surprised. Christian Budd comes to mind, coming down and taking just 2 tires, taking right sides only on that pit stop. This battle right now, though, between the 22 and the 13, these are 4-tire stops they're going to have to make here because they are sliding all over the racetrack right now. They are abusing the crap out of these tires. Oh, they both split up the racetrack there. I think Doucette tagged the wall. Whoa, Potak tagged the wall for sure. And they're going to be side by side again. There's Ryan Doucette to the left-hand side. Look at this fight as they battle it out right now. This is for the race lead in the Coke 600, the longest race of the Winstel Cup Series campaign. Jacob Potak, importantly, trying to do the double, trying to race both the Coke 600 today and the Arrowhead 500 on Wednesday in the Champ Car World Series. Christian Budd, others in pits. Sean Pellig in pit lane. It looks like Emily Howe in pit lane. Christian Budd in pit lane as well. Ryan Doucette coming down pit lane. A lot of smoke there around pit entry. Some drivers coming in really hot on those pit stops. Jacob Potak went long. They expected that from the 22 camp. They were going to go a bit longer. The idea is that you take 2 tires and some fuel, short pit stop to get yourself back into the race lead and stay in the race lead here and minimize your time stopped on pit lane. Try to cut it by about half. I would also not be incredibly surprised if Potak just tries to save fuel and make it without another pit stop altogether. He's one of those that did go longer on that last run. Cars in pit lane once again. I believe this is Nick Doucette, that DuPont Chevrolet. Anthony Kroback leaving pit lane as well, the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Corey Cook, one of his first races in a little bit, that 31 Singular Wireless machine in pit lane. Car 31 and pit box 31 enters that. Terry Harris started this race on pole position. He is in the top 10, but it has not been easy for the 14 since that caution came out and disrupted the entire flow of the race. There's the 25, Jonathan Hernandez, fresh tires for him and for Christina Ryan. They're going to try to slide through this group of cars here to get back on the lead lap. Easier said than done. Cars leaving pit lane, cars entering pit lane. It is now it's going to be a constant influx of cars in and out of pit lane from this point on in the race. Tyler Head making his pit stop. Same with Tom Willett, 21, the Wood Brothers Ford Taurus. Getting ready to come down pit lane as well. Tyler Head not able to come down pit lane this time. Thought about it, but a little bit too much traffic to his inside there. Thankfully, not a necessity to come down immediately. He's got the fuel to last at least a little bit longer. Lots of radio traffic about chatter. Lots of radio chatter about traffic coming down towards the pit lane here. Rasmus, Ryan Hill, all discussing the traffic and when it'd be opportune to come down pit lane. A lot of fresh tire cars though on the racetrack now. A lot of cars have made those final pit stops here. You see some of the cars going around that have made pit stops there. Christian Budd, Sean Pellig, you saw the 48 in that foreground shot as well. Some more of these cars beginning to get those laps back here. I would have to hazard a guess that Jacob Potak, with the pace that he's running right now, is trying to avoid a pit stop altogether and just win this race on a fuel strategy call. We saw this before. We saw this at Homestead Miami Speedway, and the entire top 10 did this. That's how they got to the top 10. Not nearly as many cars on that game plan right now, and I don't think nearly as many can pull it off in the same way that Jacob Potak might be able to with the race lead. People he's worrying about right now, a full lap around. They will not gain in 13 laps. That's the important number to keep an eye on. 13 laps to go. That's where we're at right now in this race. And you see him still sawing at the wheel a little bit, trying to keep that car underneath of him. The hardest thing to do is not drive 100%. The hardest thing to do is try to pace yourself at like 85, 80% and think about it. And you're seeing him fight that car so hard right now. That car just not having any grip. The sun is beginning to fully set. The track is getting cooler, and that's messing with the balance of the car as well. Now you've got an extra layer to think about as well. He is just all over the racetrack, though, trying to battle that car. It does not look anywhere near as dangerous on the... That's what it looks like on the racetrack from the outside. It does not look anywhere near as graphic as it does from inside the race car here. He is fighting for his life right now at the lead of this field. The points leader trying to prove a point as to why, and he's going to come down pit lane. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So he will relinquish the race lead. Scary, scary, scary stuff there. And I don't think he's going to come back out in the race lead even close to it. Emily Howe inherits the race lead here. She did not save fuel at Homestead. She was one of those on the strategy of pit and pit early. She has done the opposite here in Charlotte compared to Homestead. So she's going to try to go a little bit longer here. Herself, Dylan Roberts, Jeremy Davis, all kind of on that same strategy call. Tyler Head is currently still out on the racetrack as well. But look at that difference in pace. That's just Emily Howe's fastest compared to what she's running right now. 12 miles an hour different. That is how different the pace is for the front runners right now, trying to make it to the end here without that extra stop. Can you do that, though? That is a huge question coming to 9 laps to go. How far can you go? Emily Howe looking for a way to grab another race win in the Winstel Cup Series. A former Winstel 400 champion. She has won in the Winstel Cup Series before. She is third in the points going into today. And this would be her first win on her home track in Winstel. So this could be a potentially monumental day for Emily Howe as things sit. Jeremy Davis in second place by about 2 seconds, the gap. Started this race 27th. I think you could hazard to say that this would be a very good race for Jeremy Davis. He's led laps, he's been competitive all race long. He used strategy the entire race to get to that point. Overall, been a very smart conversation. Last time Emily Howe won a race, it was 2 years ago, basically, 2023, June 11th. It was the Pepsi 400. She is trying to win the Cola Awards. She won the Pepsi 400 at Daytona 2 years ago. She is leading right now in the Coke 600. Can she do it? She is heavy on the fuel save, trying to make it happen. There's Jeremy Davis just off in the distance by half a second. Dylan Roberts also trying to save as much fuel as possible. Coming to 5 laps to go. On board Jeremy Davis. He is within earshot here. I don't think he's pushing to be that much closer to Emily Howe right now, because he's also in the same boat Emily Howe is in, and that is needing to save fuel. Pace yourself with the race leader. If they run out, you can poach. That is where Jeremy Davis's mindset is at right now. It is just him and Howe at the front of the field. Dylan Roberts, 3 seconds adrift. They are not a concern right now. Your biggest concern would be that of Ryan Doucette, Parker Alexander, Christian Budd. They're closing in a hurry. 4 laps to go. They could be a problem at the end of this race. What you want to see, though, is this race stay green. It needs to stay green. You see the lap times beginning to slow down a little bit more for Christian Budd. He lost another 1.5 miles on his average lap speed. Emily Howe, you can tell, 158.08. She has run 158-mile-an-hour average lap speeds the entire last 6 laps. She is hitting a number. She can go faster. She is hitting a number for the fuel mileage. That's where she's at right now. You look at the consistency. Low 33s, high 32s. Another low 33. She is hitting a number based on fuel mileage at the moment. Jeremy Davis closing in a little bit more. Is it going to be enough with 3 laps to go? You need to be able to have a lap in your hand. You want to be able to uncork it and really let it rip here on the last lap. Jeremy Davis applying pressure, hoping to force the 15 to run out of fuel. Josh Chen, not in this conversation. Josh Chen, 2 laps down at the moment, trying to get one of those laps back. Dylan Roberts could not make it on fuel. He had to come down pit lane. He goes officially a lap down. Less than 2.5 miles left to run in the Coke 600. It is between Jeremy Davis and Emily Howe. And traffic all over the place. Coming to the white flag. 1 to go. Can Emily Howe save the fuel to get there? Huge conversation taking place at the moment. There's a battle for third as well. Tyler Head trying to save fuel. I don't think he's going to hold on to the podium. He is not going to. It's going to be Christian Budd for third. So that's conversation sorted. Christian Budd to third. He is safe. Can Emily Howe save the fuel to get through the final corner out of 4 for the last time for the Coke 600 on the line, across the start-finish line, through the tri-oval. Emily Howe wins at Charlotte. She wins at home. She brings it home, P1. Jeremy Davis saves enough fuel as well. He will grab a phenomenal second place. But it is Emily Howe with the crown jewel in her cap. She wins her home race. The Coke 600 is hers. The fuel mileage game plan worked to perfection. Outstanding race across the board. Gonna get a bump here from Christian Budd, the defending champion. The last 2 Winstel 400 winners are on the podium here. Emily Howe won 2 years ago, the Winstel 400. Christian Budd won this year's Winstel 400. Through the AstroTurf. She's gonna let it rip here for a small burnout. Not a lot of fuel left in that car. But it will be enough for her to sit at the start-finish line as a race winner once again. Emily Howe in victory lane, a winner at Charlotte. She has done an outstanding job. We'll go ahead and speak to her. First time in 2 years, since June 11th, 2023. Emily Howe, a winner in the Winstel Cup Series season. You won the Pepsi 400. You've now conquered the Cola Wars by winning the Coke 600 on your home track. Emily, walk us through that. That was an electric fuel save. Very close margins there at the end.
Yeah, that final run, I was like, coming out of the pits, I showed like 37 laps, and we had like 40 to go when we got the green. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't have the pace to really challenge them. I don't have, if I just follow the strategy, I'm going to walk out of a top 10, which is fine. But I'm like, if I'm going to win this race, I got to commit to something different. So I just immediately have to restart, just was clutch in, shutting the car off, save as much fuel as possible there. And I was sputtering across the line. I ran out right before we got the checkered there. So just a great job from DEI all race long to put this all together and to give us some great fuel mileage there. And great job for the field to keep it green there all that time and really allow us to have such a good, fun race there.
That was an absolutely incredible race. Obviously, the 15 car having some pace, but not quite having the pace. Obviously, the 22 and those at the front run. You made that decision as soon as the green flag fell to try to save those extra laps to get to the finish there, and it works out. This is the first time on Winstel grounds you've won at your home racetrack. Obviously, you've won at Daytona. You've been able to win those races. Winning at Charlotte, what does that feel like, winning one of the longer races as well?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's exciting because, I mean, I've never really been all that good at Charlotte. It's just been one of those tracks that I haven't really ever performed, average or above average for my pace at. I've always been kind of a top 15 car versus a top 5 car. So really cool to finally have one go my way. I mean, usually fuel mileage goes the opposite way for me. I'm never the one on the right strategy, and I figured when I saw Jimmy closing in, Jimmy started closing in from way back there, and I thought, okay, well, he's definitely saved more fuel than I have, so he's just going to get me to finish second. But great to hold him off there and just kind of really play it perfectly there to the end. And thanks for everybody who was on, the fresh tires for giving me space and allowing everyone to kind of let this play out versus, having to get a late race yellow that kind of, my last race at Wilkesboro that kind of cost me there. So good to get some redemption this week.
Absolutely. You talk about the fuel strategy and how you're usually on the wrong strategy. We reference Homestead a lot because that was the strategy where you pit early and then everyone just kind of saved fuel and made it there at the top 10. Opposite happens here. You're on the right strategy and it gets you the race win. You closed in on that championship lead with Jacob and everyone up there at the front of the field. The next race, another wild card. First time Winstels went to Montreal. How are you feeling going into the first road course race this season?
I feel good, given that we really haven't had any issues so far this year. Road courses are usually where I can kind of count on having a top 5 run as long as I don't make any mistakes. So excited to head to the road course and go ahead and get that out of the way early before we head off to our sort of midsummer break here.
It's going to be a lot of fun there in Montreal in 7 days' time. Before we let you go and let you celebrate your race win here at your home track in Charlotte Motor Speedway, Emily, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A phenomenal drive, phenomenal fuel save, and a well-earned win here in one of the largest crown jewels in Winstel.
Yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to Phil Snipes for inspiring me to save fuel. I figured that if we went green there, he was going to be saving fuel, and I didn't want him to be the one who beat me again, so I figured I might as well be the one to save first. Big shout out to everybody who, behind the scenes at AVN, puts it all together, everyone behind the scenes at Winstel, all the good folks at DEI who helped put together my good fuel-efficient motor for the evening.
A phenomenal race for Emily Howe, winner here in Charlotte, almost 2 years since her last win in the Cup Series. She has a win now at Charlotte in addition to her wins at Daytona. To her accolade. Emily, enjoy the race win. We'll see you again in Montreal.
Woo, thank you.
That was Emily Howe, our race winner for the evening. We'll move down the running order here. Usually we go from bottom to top, but with Emily being the first one available, being out of fuel, pretty easy to pick her up for an interview here. We'll talk to another driver that ran out coming to the start-finish line. Second place, Jeremy Davis. One of the largest movers in the field from 27th on the grid to second place, but a really good race car all the way throughout. Jeremy, walk us through that because you and Emily were on the same game plan. Was there a hope that she would run out before you?
Yeah, I mean, we started so far back in the race, starting 27th or 28th, just having to get strategy up there. On that final stop, we got the yellow. We needed to get on the same sequence, and I just knew that I needed to save fuel if I was going to get a top 5 finish. So that's what we did. We almost got there. Just needed a little bit better luck in the traffic, and I probably would have closed in. I might have saved just one lap too many because I had maybe a quarter of a lap left. If I pushed, maybe I could have gotten to the outside and gotten past for the lead. But it was a fun race, and they always are here in Winstel.
Absolutely a phenomenal drive. Obviously, you talk about starting from 27th, going up to second, the biggest mover of the race with 25 spots gained in this race. A little bit of strategy throughout the race. Being in a longer race, it worked out. Physically, we had a lot of everything. What was it like trying to balance, obviously, the fuel save as both of you were on, while also trying to handle the end of the race with this race being so much longer than normal?
Yeah, I'm fortunate that I've been on iRacing for a long time and had the opportunity to run in the Pro Series in 2018, 2019, and 2021. And these long races are kind of right in my wheelhouse because I can use strategy and I can use, lane choice over long runs to kind of make some speed up. But, I think the fuel mileage thing, I got a lot of good finishes back then and with fuel mileage, and I just felt like if I could get out of the gas early and not touch the brake pedal, we would be able to close the gap and not burn fuel, and that's what we did here at Charlotte.
It worked out for you. Phenomenal job. Obviously, big shoes to fill in that 4-car, taking over from Tyler Head that drove that car for the last couple seasons. The results, though, they have been building, they've been climbing, they've been getting more consistent there for you. Montreal, another wild card coming up in the wheel box here in 7 days' time. What is the feeling going to Montreal, the last race before the long 4-week spring break?
Yeah, looking forward to the break, and I love Montreal. It's one of the best road courses on the schedule. For me, I've actually never driven there in the sim world, so on iRacing, so that'll be a first for me, but I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's awesome that we're going there here in the 2005 Winstel Cup Series.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching the number 4 car wheel it and deal it in Canada as well. A phenomenal fuel-save drive for the 4 team as well. Before we let you go and let you obviously enjoy the podium and get ready for Montreal in 7 days' time, Jeremy, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on a phenomenal podium, a well-earned one on the strategy calls here in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shout out the Flagman Jeremy Network. That's my company, and then JB Simworks, a good partner of mine, and my friend Dylan King. We're all good friends, and they were with me tonight, and they'll be with me in the future, supporting me here on iRacing.
An outstanding drive for Jeremy Davis, second place in the Coke 600, with Montreal coming up very soon. Jeremy, we'll see you then. Congratulations on the podium, and we'll see you in Montreal.
See you there.
That was Jeremy Davis, second place in that 4-car. That 4-car showing the glimpse of the championship speed we have seen so many times out of that machine throughout the last couple of years. We'll move right on along to our defending Winstel Cup Series champion. Third place, trying to reel in the race leaders, just not nearly enough time from the 17 camp. Christian, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. Get a copy.
I sure do.
A wild race, but I think one of the most fun and entertaining races we've had in recent memory, and an outstanding race with different strategies all over the place. Walk us through it. Was there any chance of you trying to save the fuel, or was it pretty well locked in stone for the 17 crew that you needed to try to make that extra stop work?
I'm not very good at saving fuel, and we were having a heck of a race up front, before the pit stops. Honestly, I was hoping that maybe we get a caution halfway through that run or something, and everybody would have to come down and pit and get tires, and we'd settle it that way. But or if the caution had come out a lap earlier, maybe. But overall, it was a really fun race. Congratulations to Emily for winning. Wish I could have come up with a couple more spots there at the end, but third place is still pretty good. Got to race with a bunch of folks tonight, and everybody's racing really hard, and it was a lot of fun. It's a hard race, so the setup was super slick, and the way I like them, I think that's just what makes the best racing we get on this sim is when we're wheeling, and everybody had to wheel tonight. And I kind of think Brian Doucette had the best handle on everything. I feel like he was in this position to win that race on speed. He took 2 tires at the end, and I was hoping the race was going to come down to me and him because the 2 was pretty good, but I was catching him on the 4 and passed him on that last lap, but unfortunately just not quite enough to get the win tonight.
A wild race. Obviously, a lot of changes went into the lead up here to Charlotte. Obviously, the extension of the race lengths. There was a conversation around the garage area of would the longer races change the way the racing felt? Would it change the balance of the racing? Being on the racetrack, obviously being the defending champion, what did it feel like to you with the race obviously having an extra 20 laps tonight and scheduled? As far as like what the rest of the season is going to look like with the little bit longer races going forward for the normal lengths?
It changes it a little, I guess. But it's, the way I drive and things like that, I don't say has changed much. Tonight, the setup being the way it was, especially in the early hours when the track was really slick, we had to save a little bit more than we usually do in this league. You couldn't just go out there and just drive as hard as you could the whole time. You had to save that right rear. But once the sun went down at the end there, I was driving as hard as I could that entire last 20 laps, just trying to get every tenth I could. As far as the rest of the races, to me, it's just more racing. I like it. I like longer races. You know, I'd always do longer races, but you know, there's just a lot of competing interests and things that maybe keep it, you know, where we're at, and that's fine. But mainly, we had a lot of green flag running tonight, and that's what I really like to see. You know, when we get a bunch of cautions and all that kind of randomness, it's not as fun to be. And everybody just did a great job tonight. I think we had 2 cautions maybe.
2 cautions,
you know, so that's what I like. You know, because that's what makes these races look dynamic, look interesting, switches the strategy up. And, you know, I don't know who was going to run the race if it went green from the middle there. I have no idea. I don't think it was going to be me, but, you know, you just didn't know. But it was so much fun. So great setup from Emily, and great job by all the drivers who made this what it is tonight.
Absolutely. 42 finishers tonight. Only 1 retirement, and that was early on. That was a single car incident that caused that retirement. Only 2 cautions, and arguably best race of the season so far. 8 races in. That being said, Montreal, wildcard race next weekend before our spring break. How's the 17 camp feeling about the first road course of the year?
You know, road course racing is fun. I always like road course racing. I think I say the same thing every time. I like road course racing. I'm just not super good at it. So that's not a track that I think I've ever raced but one time when we did, I think we ran in the old ARCA car there like, I don't know, 5 years ago. And I used to race it on ARCA Sim Racing, and that's about my extent of my knowledge of that track. And so I don't know. I mean, it's road course racing, so mainly it's like, don't go off track, don't, you know, speed in the pits, don't cause yourself a bunch of problems. You know, speed-wise, there's a lot of talented road racers in here, so, you know, I could see Emily winning again, I could see Sean winning, I could see, there's a bunch of others that I'm forgetting, but, you know, probably not going to win. I'd like to get a top 10, I'd be feeling good about that.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun seeing what you can do in Montreal in next weekend's event before the spring break. Before we let you go and let you celebrate the podium and get ready for Montreal in 7 days' time, Christian, the floor is yours. If you want to shout anyone in particular, take it away. A fantastic job here at P3, putting the charge to the front here in Charlotte.
Yeah, thanks to the wife and kids for putting up with me coming down here racing every weekend. Shout out to Mom and Dad. Got stuff going on right now, and just really appreciate them for all they've done for me. And the whole Winstel gang and everybody who showed up tonight, and ABN for broadcasting, putting on these great races. And the admin team for putting this together and making this what it is.
A phenomenal job. Best race of the season, the defending champion Christian Budd, P3 here in Charlotte. Christian, enjoy it, and we'll see you again in Canada in 7 days.
Thank you so much.
That was Christian Budd, the race podium complete there. 3rd place for the defending champion, Emily Howe and Jeremy Davis, your top 3 here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Coke 600 wrapped up. Best race of the season. 2 cautions over 120 laps for 8 laps total. And arguably best race of the season. We mentioned it before. It's a track that everyone was familiar with. Everyone used that familiarity to their strengths in mass. You see the skyline we had earlier this evening, absolutely beautiful. Emily Howe winning at home ahead of Jeremy Davis and Christian Budd. Ryan Dissett, Tyler Head, your top 5 there. A phenomenal effort for all of them. Thomas Lewandowski, his first top 10 since returning to Winstel competition, is a 6th place ahead of Gabriel Mauricio, Kirk Marble, Nick Doucette, and Parker Alexander, rounding out your top 10. 2 of the DEI cars, all 3 of them in the top 10 there. The 1 and the 8 also in that group. Jacob Potak, the points leader. A little bit of a hit here in Charlotte, 11th place. It's the best he could come up with here ahead of Sean Peleg and Ashley Kolonix. Brendan McGee and Ryan Hill round out your top 15. Your pole sitter, Andrew Ferrinair, sit in 16th place at the finish, ahead of Kyle Benson, Corey Cook, Jonathan Hernandez, and Steve Brown, who rounded out the top 20. Christina Ryan, not a great race at her home racetrack, unlike Emily Howe. 21st is the best she could put up with, but a damaged race car limited the potential on that UPS machine. Mike Rasmus fell apart late as well, could not manage the fuel strategy game. and ended up falling to the 22nd spot. Tom Willett, 23rd. Ryan Andrew having issues on pit lane. Drops from the battle for that race lead. Was a favorite to win this race. He'll finish 24th ahead of Jordan Barabee, Alex Bates, Anthony Kroback, Matt Skipper, Dylan Roberts, and Evan Locke. Chris Champeau, Matt Sisler, Brandon Cruz, 31st to 33rd. Everyone behind 26th place. And Alex Bates was a lap down here at least. So you're looking at all these cars that were a lap down here. Philip Snipes in 34th, Larry Pace in 35th. We go all the way down. Lucas Davila was the first one 2 laps down. So Josh Chin 36th, Davila 37th, Brandon McKissick 38th. After having his spin on pit lane and losing a couple laps, getting penalized as well. Corey Steinhauser 39th and Tyler Murray in 40th. Not a great race for them either. Craig Lautenslager and TJ Crampton, the last 2 drivers to finish this race. Crampton 11 laps down, an absolute trooper, having to go all this race with the damage he had. Unfortunately, just couldn't pick up the positions. No one else retired other than Andrew Trupiano, who had hit the wall hard on pit entry and had to retire in 43rd position. Andrew Griesbaum, Jordan Skavnicki, his debut ends in a failure to qualify, and Hayden Repas, the 89, once again failing to qualify as well. A struggle in this race, but it is the sweetest when you get to the end. Emily Howell, a winner in Charlotte tonight. We have more racing on Wednesday, the 7th Arrowhead 500, Wednesday right here on Twitch at 8 p.m. The crown jewel of the ABN calendar. You're all invited to tune in and watch around the world on Wednesday. On behalf of everyone here for Winstel Racing in the Winstel Cup Series, and everyone here at ABN Studios, behind the commentary box, Anity Pulsatrix, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you so much for joining us here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll see you on Wednesday in Indy. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you at the Brickyard. So long, everybody.